Hello, everybody. We're going to give folks a second to trickle in. Um, so while we're waiting for folks, maybe drop where you're calling in from in the chat. We got Nigeria, we got Texas. Hello, Nigeria. We got Korea. Let's go. Thank you for being up in the middle of the night. 3:01 a.m. Wow, that's based. Um, we got New York City, we got Hungary. Let's go. I saw that the Budapest base meetup looked awesome. Um, New York City, we got California, we got LA, Bay Area, China. It looks like the person from China doesn't quite know what's going on here. Well, we love you anyways. Thanks for being here. We got Portugal, San Diego, Miami, South Africa, amazing, Los Angeles, Austria, Singapore. Let's go. Thank you for being up in the middle of the night. We gotta move one of these to be a little bit more time zone friendly. We got India, we got Chile, we got New York City, um, more China, Ecuador, Quito, que bueno, India, LA, based around the world. It really is so incredible. We have people, I think, from every continent. I saw America, North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia. I guess we haven't seen anyone from Australia yet. We got Brussels, another Nigerian. Incredible. So much energy. Okay, well, let's dive in. The goal of this meeting, we do this every month, and the reason why we do this meeting is to bring builders together and to share what's top of mind for us, share where we're going, which hopefully can give you a little bit more insight into where base is heading, which will let you build better, and then open it up for questions. So we can hear what's top of mind for you. We can figure out how we can help you build better. And so thank you all for showing up here in the middle of the night, in the morning, in the evening. It means the world to us. We're so, so grateful that you're here. And we have a pretty stacked agenda. So I'm going to first talk a little bit about some top of mind things for me. Then I'm going to share some reflections from the Based Around the World tour that we just did, where we went to 6 different countries in 21 days. And then I'm going to hand it over to Tina, who's going to talk a little about an emerging trend on Base, which is people building agents and some of the tooling that's emerging to make it much easier for people to build agents on chain, give them new superpowers. So it's a stacked agenda. At the end of that, we'll have time for questions. So if you have a question, you can feel free to drop it in the chat as I'm going. If I see it in the chat, I'll try and just answer it in context. But in terms of unmiking, save that for the end. That's going to let us kind of get through the agenda, and then we'll have 15, 20 minutes at the end for questions from everybody. Awesome. Okay, so first off, I always love starting these meetings with a reminder of why we're here. When we all wake up every single morning, why are we showing up to build on base? And it all comes back to our mission, and that is to build a global on-chain economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. And we just had Thanksgiving in the United States, and I think a lot of the time when people go to Thanksgiving, they start talking with their family. And historically, folks have said, "Hey, I work in crypto," and then I think you've got a lot of skepticism. There's been fear around speculation and fraud. And this year, the base core team tried something different. We all went home and we said, no, we're working to build a global on-chain economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. And perhaps unsurprisingly, that led to some different conversations. And it led to instead conversations about this new internet that we're building, that all of us are building, a new internet by the people, for the people, that's going to make the world a better place. And when we build that new internet, the mission, the vision is that we bring the entire world into it. 1 million builders, 1 billion users, $1 trillion of asset, the entire world on chain. And so if people ask your why are you building on base? This is what you can tell them. You can tell them that you're building a global on-chain economy that's by the people, that's for the people, and that's going to massively increase innovation, creativity, and freedom. And so that's the one. Now, the other thing that I really like to ground us in is the how. How are we showing up in terms of our values, And how are we showing up in terms of our strategy to actually bring the world on chain? On the value side, we're showing up to be for everyone, basis for everyone. We want to be a bridge, not an island, to connect people to the entire on-chain economy. We want to be decentralized and open source. And then, of course, we want to be based. And we want to stay based. And this means being optimistic. It means working hard. It means putting the team over the individual. It means pushing boundaries with creativity. And it means being based. And so many people in this room now know what that means intuitively and are upholding that set of values, which lets us all work better together. So that's the first part of the how.
Hey, Morgan.
The second part of the how is the strategy. This is what are the actual things that we need to do in order to build this global on-chain economy and to bring the world on-chain. And we'd like to talk about the strategy in 4 parts. First, we need to build a really powerful developer platform that makes it possible for anyone to build on-chain apps. Second, we need to nurture that ecosystem of apps that people build so that there's a real reason for consumers and businesses to come on-chain and enter the economy. Third, when those people start to enter the economy, we need to kind of create these vibrant 24/7, 365 global capital markets that make base the center of the on-chain economy. And then finally, the only way we can do those things is if we build a secure, decentralized, scalable platform that enables everyone else to build. And so when you're waking up every day and you're thinking about how do I contribute to Base? How do I contribute to making this global on-chain economy work? You want to show up with these values and you want to figure out how does my work contribute to one of these strategic pillars? Because if all of us are aligned in that way, we're going to be able to work more quickly together. We're going to be able to contribute to building this thing together. And Nibel just dropped a chat in the chat, but actually this is a pretty fun exercise. Maybe everyone can just think for a second about what they're working on, and then share in the chat which pillar of the strategy you think what you're working on contributes to. Let's see if we got some people who are going to do that exercise. Somebody join me. Moonwell, vibrant. I was looking for Luke. 100%. Moonwell, fostering that deep capital market. Toshi Bull, decentralizing and scaling. I love it. Bankit, building that ecosystem of reasons for people to come on chain. Pak, building that deep capital market. Carlos Melgar, decentralizing and scaling, letting everyone come on chain. I love the way folks are starting to think about how their work contributes to our overall strategy. Keep doing that. Keep sharing feedback, and it'll help us build better. So that's the strategy. That's the mission. We're building a global on-chain economy, and all of you are part of it. Now I want to dock into a few things that are top of mind for me. And these are just things that I've been thinking about that I've also been sharing with our team. The first, and this is a little bit hard to read because it's small, is this idea that we're not just building a new economy with technology, we are also building a new economy with culture. Because the current economy has kind of stagnated. And the only way we can push through that is by building a new culture, a based culture that can let us imagine the future in new ways. This quote is from a book called Boom that just got published. Maybe someone can drop it in chat, but if you're looking to understand kind of how innovation works, highly recommend checking out Boom, digging in, learning, reading, and helping us think through how do we build a strong culture that's rooted in those values that can help us build a better economy together. The second thing, and Tina's going to talk a lot more about this, is that we are building Base and it's becoming the center of AI on chain. You know, in the last week, we've seen AI XBT emerge as a market leader in terms of KOL voice. We've seen people start to do LLCs from agents. We've seen this incredible fun game, Fresa. It's happening, and it's happening on Base, and we're super excited to talk about that in a second. The third thing that's top of mind is that Base is scaling. I don't know if folks have seen that, but this is the total number of transactions on the left here. So you can kind of see this number is just going up and to the right. But at the same time, these are the fees on the right. And we're seeing a little bit too much fee increase. And what that's telling us is that we need to scale faster. There's more demand happening than the capacity that we've added. And so I guess I just want to acknowledge to all the builders here, we're proud of how much scaling we've done, but we also know that gas fees make it harder for you to build great apps. And it makes it harder for you to onboard new people into the on-chain economy. And our top priority is making it so that gas fees are low, so that everyone can participate. We did a 10% capacity increase this week. We're going to do another capacity increase next week. We're going to keep increasing capacity at faster and faster rates until we can bring the entire world on chain. So we are not stopping. We're going to keep building. Okay, sweet. I'm going to end that annotation. Going to keep moving. And then the last thing, and this is something I shared on Twitter as well, but the base core team, and I hope many of you, we are in the middle of a 3-week sprint to close the year. We just had a little bit of rest and charge for Thanksgiving. And now we really want to set a tone for our community and for the broader ecosystem and for ourselves of what does really, really strong execution look like to close 2024 with a bang. And what that's going to let us do is it's going to let us feel how it's going to feel in 2025 when we absolutely crush it week over week. But what we're also going to earn with these 3 weeks of hard work is a little bit of a break at the end of the year. We have Christmas week, then we have New Year's week, and the base team is actually going to rest and recharge for those 2 weeks. And so it's a 3-week sprint now, then a 2-week rest and recharge, and then we're going to hit the ground running with a bang on January 5th, ready to bring the entire world on chain. My hope is that this framework, this idea of zone 1 through 5 is useful for y'all, and that it kind of helps give you a little bit of context on how we're pushing, how we're taking a break, so that all of us can work hard and rest hard together, and thereby multiply our impact. So we actually make a bigger impact by working hard together at the same times. So take some rest. Join us in this 3-week sprint, take some rest over the holidays, and then let's crush it in 2025. Okay, so that's what's top of mind for me. The next thing I want to dig into is some reflections from based around the world. And if you didn't know, me and about 14 other members of the base core team spent all of November traveling around the world. We went from New York to Nairobi to Bangalore to Bangkok to Singapore. Then we did a quick stop in Malaysia. That's actually not on this map. And then we went to the Philippines. 6 countries in 21 days. We met thousands of builders and we learned so much. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was that there's just so much builder energy in every single part of the world. And there's so much based energy in every single part of the world. Now, we didn't just do this build-a-thon. Leading up to, we didn't just do this world tour. Leading up to the build-a-thon, to the world tour, we also did a build-a-thon. We did a 3-week build-a-thon that had 2,500 unique people participate in it in 4 different regions: Africa, Latin America, India, and Southeast Asia. And through that build-a-thon, we saw an incredible set of new builders emerge. And I want to just take a second to recognize all of these incredible builders. I hope maybe some of them are on this call, but these folks heard the call. They said, based around the world, the build-a-thon's happening. We need to build a product that impacts our local community. And they stepped up and they did it. And we ended up with, I think, like hundreds of projects. And these were about 35 of the ones that kind of were at the top of the pack. And so I just want to quickly, please everybody join me. And let's just giving a huge round of applause to all of these builders. I think it's just day one. Like, a build-a-thon is the beginning, and so many of these things are already starting to turn into businesses and startups and other kind of community investments. But you got to start somewhere, and I was super proud to see all these folks do that. The next thing that I want to share from the build-a-thon is it was so incredible getting to meet people in person. A lot of these countries I'd never been to before. I'd spent a lot of time in Nairobi because my brother lives there, but Bangalore, Bangkok, Singapore, Malaysia, Manila, none of those places I'd ever been. And when I was kind of going, I wasn't sure what to expect. Would people show up? Were they going to be interested in base? And the results were kind of mind-blowing. in every single city, we had hundreds of builders show up and be incredibly based. They were telling us, we are ready to bring the world on chain. We're ready to build a global on-chain economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. We're here to build together. And that feeling of being present and connected and grounded with people in their communities, in their cities, in their cultures, I think it just ignited our energy and our excitement to be spending more time globally in 2025. Because when you look at the data and you look at the reality of where we are right now, what we are seeing is that even though I live in Berkeley, California, most base builders live outside the US and they live totally across the world. And so if base is going to be for everyone, base needs to be totally across the world. And so that's what we're going to be doing. Now, what does that actually translate to? First, I want to start with a few learnings. And the first one I just talked through. There's incredible energy from every single part of the world about building this on-chain economy. The second learning, though, is that there is an opportunity for us to invest more in platform infrastructure and support for builders. And we've started doing this with build-a-thons. We do this with Builder Friday. We have a lot of tooling like rounds and grants that we do. But what we are hearing is that there's even more need for infrastructure, and we're going to be investing in that in a big way in 2025. The third thing that we're hearing is that stablecoins and financial use cases, and particularly local stablecoins like a Kenyan shilling and a Nigerian naira and a Thailand baht and a Turkish lira, those are really, really important. They're going to be infrastructure that enables these economies to come on chain and to benefit from this faster, global, more connected new internet. And so we're going to be spending a bunch of time there. And then the fourth thing is that I think there's this recurring theme that people want to build kind of like work local, but build global. They love being connected to their local community. They love being connected with other builders from their city, from their country, from their culture, but they also want to build for a global audience. And this is exactly how we think about crypto. It is something that lets you participate in this new global economy and lets you actually figure out how can you contribute globally while also taking the incredible power of this global platform and bringing it back locally to your community where you can actually make a positive impact. So that was just an exciting learning for us. And that connection between local and global, I think, is going to get deeper and deeper as more of us move on chain. So what's next? We have a lot of follow-up stuff that's coming out of the World Tour. On the building side, we have a whole kind of like follow-up support program for people who participate in the Based Around the World Build-a-thon. Stay tuned for that. In 2025, we're going to actually go one level deeper, and we're going to do country-focused build-a-thons. My goal is to run a build-a-thon in every single country around the world in 2025. And that is an ambitious goal, but I think it's 100% possible. On the mentorship side, we're standing up a mentorship program to mentor folks who are coming out of build-a-thons to help them take their idea from just a build-a-thon to a real business and make sure that they can actually do it in the long term. We just launched a collaboration with Rare Skills for a boot camp for smart contract development. That just kicked off on Monday. That's to give people more skills. And we're expanding office hours to APAC, Africa, India-friendly time zones. So that more folks can access to the core base team and get the support that they need to be successful. On the hiring front, we're hiring country leader roles. So we have Kenya, Philippines, Argentina open right now. We just hired Samya in India, and we're actually going to open up 25 roles. Because our goal in 2025 is to hire 25 country leader roles so that we have a based Philippines leader, a based Argentina leader, a based Nigeria leader, a based Kenya leader, a based Brazil leader, a based Colombia leader. We're still figuring out the exact list, but the goal is to be everywhere. We're going to build there 25 and 25, and then we'll keep expanding from there. We're also going to be opening up more global DevRel engineering, marketing, and product roles. So a lot of the current team is in the United States and Americas, in Canada and Argentina and Latin America. But we're going to be expanding to APAC. We're going to be expanding more to India. We're going to be expanding and opening hiring for Africa as well. And one thing that I'm just super excited about, and I think there's probably some other Nigerians on the call who are going to be excited as well, is we actually just hired our first Nigerian builder to join the base team. And that's Joseph. I don't know if folks know Joseph, but he's an incredible security engineer. He's joining us, I think, at the beginning of January, and we're just super, super excited to have him join us, and really just to like show folks, yeah, like everyone can join the base team. Everyone can be a part of building this future, and the door is really open to everyone. So welcome, Joseph, and super excited to hire more people from more countries all around the world. And then the last thing is on the product side, we are expanding local stablecoins. So coming soon, we have a Nigerian naira, Kenyan shilling, a Turkish lira, an Indonesian rupee, a Philippines peso. Local currencies are going to be coming live on Base very quickly over the next couple months. So stay tuned for those and think about how you can start building on them. And then we're also going to be doing a ton of work to make it easier for people to get on chain. So stay tuned for that. Coinbase Wallet's getting better and better, but there's a lot more coming along as well. So that's the takeaways from Based Around the World. I've got to meet so many of the people on this call. Yes, there will be a Singapore dollar on chain as well. Great question. It's coming soon as well. Every country is going to have their currency on chain. We will ask Gather to fix mobile issues as well. And we're exploring whether we're going to keep this in Gather or not. So that's the takeaways from Based Around the World. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Tina, who is the leader of On-Chain Kit, which, if you don't know, is an incredible set of open source tooling that can let you go from zero to a fully functioning on-chain app in less than 30 minutes. And she's going to talk a little bit about what's happening with AI agents on Base.
Amazing. I'm sure that I already know many of you here, many familiar names, but if you don't know me yet, I'm Tina. As Jesse mentioned, I've been working on a set of developer tools on ChainKit. And in 2025, as Jesse mentioned, a big part of the pillar and strategy is to build this powerful developer platform. And I already saw in the comment that an artist just mentioned that they want on-chain kit to also be more accessible to artists and creators, not just developers. And that is heard. And actually, that's where AI comes in. There's so much development of AI just with developer tooling, but also with the new experiments that are happening on Base. So there's more to come on that front of how we're going to use AI to supercharge your development of your app and experiments, and also in the future artist projects. But here today, we're going to focus on talking a little bit more about all the cool stuff that's happening with agents on Base, and encourage everyone to experiment with that. So I think Jesse had this tweet earlier this week that actually summarized different kind of classes of experiments that are happening on chain. So the first one being, newly possible agent and human games, and phrase that being one of them. If you have not checked it out, it's actually intellectually very stimulating, where there's a possibility of potentially abusing the agent. So you can think of this as like a kind of white hat exercise, where they have a simple prompt for the agent where do not take out, basically do not send any money to the user. And basically there's a bounty at the end of that game if someone was able to successfully do that. So it's just very interesting experiment. The second class of products that we're seeing is agents emerging as KOLs. And, you might have seen virtuals with Luna. And also there's a couple more that are coming out. And the third class is actually, I think, the one that I'm personally most excited about, which is, agents actually performing real economic activities on chain. And that is just mind blowing, because we're already seeing on-chain economy growing, at the speed that it is with, humans and bots. But now we're also seeing kind of more real economic activities happening with, things that are really streamlining, the operational inefficiency that we're seeing in the real world. And that's actually one of the benefits of crypto, with, programmable money, to be able to create something like an LLC much more easily and embed, payment in your app more seamless than ever, empowered by an LLMs. So this is like one example of actually a super base builder in the community. I've personally never met him, Rayhan. He actually used our, Coinbase wallet to hack together this experiment with XMTP's messaging protocol, to build this agentic experience within the wallet app. And this actually goes to one of the strategic pillar of being decentralized and open source and why that is important. Actually, if you've used a Coinbase product, it has been a very amazing UX, but then it's been closed source traditionally. But right now we're seeing this kind of new experiment of actually open sourcing the app and being able to add kind of your own, experience in it. And that's been really inspiring also to the team internally and referencing experiments like this. So we would love to see what you build with our tools to contribute to our core products as well. And I put together this website very quickly, and there's a QR code, but I will also link it in the message here. But this is a directory of all the AI projects on Base, just make it easier to find different experiments that are happening on chain. I'm just linking it in the chat box here. And you can submit your project by basically creating a PR in GitHub. So you can also, find other builders that are participating in experiments like this. Next slide. And yeah, I want to highlight this toolkit that you may have seen, on Twitter. It's called Agent Kit. Again, attach the QR code in the bottom right here for the GitHub repo. So Agent Kit essentially, you can think of it as a TypeScript Python SDK for making on-chain interactions and building on-chain agents very easy. So you can think of it as on-chain kit plus, also a backend SDK that make it easy to make transactions. So we're slowly releasing, these components in the next quarter and also in the upcoming year to make it even faster to launch these AI experiments for you. And if you want to experiment and experience what Agent Kit looks like with a front end, so we actually have Agent Playground. I will also find the link here in On-Chain Kit, and let me link it here. So Agent Playground essentially is a sandbox where we integrated with Agent Kit to basically let you know the capabilities. You can try deploying an NFT and a token with just natural language, or do simple things like transferring USDC or transferring any token. There's a lot more that that can be done that we would love to see what you create. But this is a simple sandbox to make it very easy for you to see what's possible. And that's all the AI agents, experiments and activities that are happening on Base. Just to be honest, I'm mind blown every single day by all the cool stuff that are being built on Base here. And we'll continue to build the best tooling and more easy, accessible platform for you to experiment with what's possible on chain.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. So that is the end of our regularly scheduled programming. We have now about 15 minutes of open Q&A. And so if you have a question, what I'd love you to do is raise your hand. There's a little, if you click emote in the bottom, which is a little smiley face, and then raise hand on the far right, or you can press H, that will let you raise your hand. When you raise your hand, I'll call on you, and when I call on you, we'd love you to quickly say your name, where you're calling in from, and one sentence about what you're working on. Not like 5-10 sentences, but like one sentence, so we can get through a lot of people and make sure we can answer all the questions. So with that, let me call on Base Summit. You're gonna have to unmic to talk. And you can unmic by clicking the microphone button in the bottom left. Okay, well, Base Summit's waiting to unmic. Oh, well, Base Summit's waiting to unmic. Let's go to Ayashish.
Hi, Jesse. I'm calling from India. And 3 months ago, I was on the same meeting, and there was this thing I was telling you that I'm working on a project, NFT PFP project, which I completed and launched on Base on 2nd December. So the question was
Congrats.
bringing. So you also said that you should change the name to On-Chain Punks, but at the same time, I had a strategy that first I should launch this for the Degen community, and I will be making another project which should be complete by February with 15,000 plus NFTs. The when you started, you said, "How are you bringing world on chain?" So this project has 31 skin tones, means every person from every continent can have the NFT that looks like them. I launched it on Base on highlights on 2nd December. I would just request two things. One is I would like to be a member in Base channel in Wobcast so that I can share the project and the giveaways, and a little bit of support from the Base team and you to share my project because I am lacking behind that. That's the only thing.
Awesome. Well, it would be great if you could share the project in your Workcast handle in the chat here so that Will and Jaren can check it out and we can figure out how to support. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you
Thanks
so
for being
much.
here and thanks for building on Base. Carlos?
BM, what's up, everyone? This is not a question. I kind of, in relation to the AI presentation that we just had, I wanted to encourage all community builders, anyone who's gathering builders, developers, new users to direct eyeballs towards AI and on-chain. I believe that we are going to get an avalanche of dev tooling that's going to help unlock so much creativity. There's so many builders that are sidelined right now because they're not technical and they have these passions and these dreams and these ideas that they want to develop and they want to make a reality. I think AI and dev tooling is going to make that possible next year. So start directing eyeballs there just so people get familiar with what's happening and they don't have to like jump on the learning curve way late, right? So you're giving your community an advantage right now by tapping into this really early. So start hosting workshops, walkthroughs, like get people actually playing with these platforms and interacting and keep that going.
100%, 100%. And this is actually like a big theme inside of the Base team right now. I'm basically forcing everyone, all of the engineers and the non-technical people, to start using AI tools to build things. And it's really incredible what people can build, even if they're not technical. Tina, I'm just going to call on you. Can you just tell your story of like how, I feel like you're shipping a website every single day now, but you're not an engineer by trade. Can you just share a little bit about your journey as a AI enabled engineer?
Totally. So I'm happy to share my stack later on Twitter and share with everyone here as well. But yeah, by function, I'm actually a product person at Coinbase. And actually, traditionally in tech companies, if you're familiar with product, people are not expected to code. But a lot of times when you're building dev tooling, the best way to test your product is to code and to actually build experiments to showcase how these APIs and SDKs actually work in practice. So I've been kind of, tying together a lot of these cutting edge tools, V0, Cursor. There's a new one called Climb that is going to blow your mind if you haven't tried it. It actually is like basically Cursor on crack. Like they automatically correct all your errors if there's an error message. So you don't even need to touch or have human input anymore. Hands off, it just automatically runs. I know that there's a new one called Bolt that kind of does the same thing, but I find Climb a little bit better from a performance perspective. Generally, I think, building is worth 1,000 words. So, I actually love writing PRDs, but in this day and age, I think it's much more convincing to just build a full stack app and then, have the touch and feel and be closer to users that way. So yeah, I'm here to like empower you to not be afraid, even if you're not an engineer by trade. The tools are getting really, really good. So yeah, just start building and it's very addicting.
100%, Tina. And I think it would be great if you could share like a little tweet about it or maybe a little video of like, here's how I build as a traditionally non-technical builder. I think a lot of Base folks would be really inspired by that. Awesome. Louis?
Hey everybody, I'm Louis Bacan. I created Sex Stuff on-chain cyber defense group, specifically for on base, focusing on LLMs. and even more specifically, multi-agent frameworks. Just to tack on a little bit to what Tina said, I love the Cursor VO workflow for building on chain. I would also point some people to towards Windsurf. Windsurf is an excellent tool for like it's basically Cursor. The advantage that it has though is when you create your PRD, your product requirement doc, you don't have to spend as much time or even like adding your file hierarchy, your file structure. Windsurf is it's very intuitive. So you don't really need to be like a full-time developer to build something. So I'm here. I'm happy to help out with any kind of tools, techniques, resources. Just reach out. I'm always available. My question was, what can I do specifically to move the needle the most? What's the highest leverage action that we can take on chain today?
It's a great question. And I don't know if you can do this, but one thing I will potentially present as an idea is one need that I've seen a lot from builders is they write smart contracts and then they need to figure out how to get them deployed safely. And I think there's kind of two classes here. One is people who are building like real financial protocols, and those folks generally have the resources to go do real audits, multiple audits, get real, like lots of security auditors to look at it. But then there's another class of folks who are building little games or little experiments who are the security is not as important, but they still want to make sure that they're getting some eyeballs on what they're building. And so one opportunity that I see that is kind of like feels very present to me is I feel like we should figure out how do we almost create like a community resource for those sort of lightweight code audits, where if we can figure out how to connect people who are early in their maybe security career and are looking for things to learn from with folks who are building little games where security matters less, that could be a really, really valuable resource for increasing the security and increasing the kind of like builder platform for folks building on base. So that's one idea that seems potentially relevant to your skill set.
I actually am doing exactly that. I just created the Discord server for Sex Stuff on Chain. Yeah.
Wow,
So
I love it. Well, please share. I would love you to share more with me, because I'd love to connect you to our security team. That sort of peer-to-peer, like sort of, I don't want to call it quite auditing, but like contract reviews. I think would be really, really impactful for helping our ecosystem be stronger and better.
excellent.
Thank you for your service. That's super important. Fungi.
Hey there, Jesse. Hi, my name's Connor. Here on behalf of the Fungi ERC20I team, kind of brought dynamic EVM inscriptions to base. They're fungible, non-fungible at the same time, fully on chain, no IPFS, kind of inspired by BTC ordinals. Our development team is wondering how we can kind of successfully share some custom integrations we've built for the Coinbase wallet that would kind of allow for a native inscriptions viewer, kind of further differentiate base as NFTs and tokens evolve.
Yeah. So one of the big things that's happening right now is we're in the middle of a kind of big platform investment in the wallet to make it faster, smoother, easier to use, and also chart our path towards open source. And so right now, one of the really frustrating things I think for folks around Wallet is that there's no easy way to contribute. And that's the thing we want to change. And so I don't have an exact timeline on it, but it's something we're prioritizing in 2025. And that'll be a pathway where then anyone can contribute. So that's one path. The other path is that we're always evaluating like new things to support in the wallet. And once we get this new foundation laid, I think it's going to be easier for us to add support. So I'm tracking ERCI very closely, super excited about the innovation. I love all of the championing that the community does, and I'm excited to find a path where we can get more visibility.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
Appreciate you. Mel? Mel, you got a question? And these will be the last two questions, and then we'll call it.
Mel, we can't hear you, or I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear Mel? No. Okay. They're not looking muted, but maybe Mel, you might want to check your mic and come back. Candace, you gotta. Oh, we can't hear you either, Candace. Very sad. While we wait for Candace and Mel.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back. Now we can hear you, Mel.
Oh, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I'm Mel. I'm building Region, the meme coin for good. We are working precisely right now with this whole AI stuff. So I wanted to ask very quickly, after playing with Eliza, I don't know how deep your AI knowledge is, but what's like the best way to really get something out there and being able to create a character so we can start playing on Farcaster and doing fun stuff with the agent.
Tina, you want to maybe take that one? What's the best way to get involved to build something that can start doing things on Farcaster with an agent?
I will send you some GitHub repos that I actually just saw after judging a hackathon. There's a couple tools. Brian knows AI, on-chain kit, agent kit, which is a CDP's new product, and XMTP, which helps with messaging. With Farcaster specific integrations, they actually have docs that makes it easy to post as an agent. Sorry, as a address, and an agent can just have an address. So if you just reach out to me, I'll give you my Telegram. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I'll just give you my Telegram and leave it in the chat, and I can also send you some reference.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Candace?
Hey, Jesse, it says Candace had problems with her mic, but she asked in the chat.
Got it. I'm looking. To get in touch about open roles, you can go to base.org/jobs and apply to any of those. And then oftentimes hiring managers are just sharing. And so finding the right person who's the hiring manager and reaching out to them directly is another great path.
Hey, Jesse, your mic's off.
Oh, I said I'm going to take these last two questions, one from Do3, L7, 3K, and one from Yalin.
Should it come up?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me here, Jesse, and awesome work, everybody. My question is, it's a simple question, but what is your one of the top up-and-coming communities that it's in your radar right now? I'd love to hear from you, community-wise. And then just to share a little bit, we're building a live streaming gaming platform, and we're trying to bring in players from all the base communities to come and compete against each other. And we're really trying to build positive sum games. The token is fully diluted, and we're buying from the market as a community takeover. I've been building games for over 20 years, and I really look forward to building base experience with everybody here on base.
Awesome. I love it. Well, first off, thank you for building with us, and thank you for building a game community. Super, super important. In terms of what communities am I excited about? I mean, there's too many to name. In general, like whenever I'm on Twitter, I feel like every single day I see something new that gets me fired up. I mean, yesterday, Chonks is like a totally new NFT. They minted 80,000 of them. So many people participating in that. There's tons of new memes that are coming out, all of these AIs that people are building communities around. So I feel like generally, if you just open up Deck Screener, you're going to find a bunch of really incredible communities. I just reach out, get in touch with them, and figure out how to build.
Will do. Thank you so much.
And then last question for Yalin.
Hey, Jesse, can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay, perfect. It's great to see you after Bangkok. First of all, Merry Christmas in advance. By the way, I'll be DJing tonight. It's almost 10 p.m. It's going to be my first gig at my friend's office. That's why the background is a bit funky.
Amazing.
First,
Congrats. First gig. Huge.
thank you. I mean, I've been waiting for this moment for 36 years. I'm 36 years old. Yeah, so the last time we spoke here, you had mentioned that Turkish lira would come to Turkey in about 2 months. Is the timeline still on for that? Oh no. And
It's still on.
okay.
We haven't announced it yet, but it's actually live right now on base, and
Oh,
it's starting
wow.
to roll out. So now
Okay.
we just got to start getting all the integrations going. So stay tuned. We'll have more in the next few weeks.
So does that mean that I can try it out or not yet?
Not yet, I don't think,
Okay.
but it's coming.
What,
It's coming soon.
okay. Amazing. So we're working really hard with Base Turkey to create content. That's another thing. And Super Meme mainnet launches December 15th. That's what I wanted to tell you also. So we're really fine tuning everything. You know, take slow cooking. Perfection is what we want to aim for, which is not ideal always, but still, it's coming up. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys launch and excited to have more memes and builders on base. And yeah, we're super excited about the Turkish lira. And in general, we're just so excited about how much energy there is around base in Turkey right now. I think one of the things that's helping is there's a bunch of really based core team members from Turkey. Jaren's here. I don't know if Sarah's here, but she's incredible. Kate, who leads our developer tools on the engineering side. I feel like just having a bunch of Turks on the team has been so fun, and getting to see them like bringing Turkey on chain has been a real inspiration for me. So excited for the Turkish lira to launch and excited to double down even more.
Amazing. Great to see you as
Awesome.
always.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. And with that, everybody, we're going to wrap it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in the middle of your night, late in your evening, right before you give a DJ set. Have an awesome first set, Yalin.
Thank you.
Keep building and stay based, everybody. Have a great
Yeah.
Friday. Have a great
Bye.
Saturday. Have a great weekend.